Ho ho ho! Happy Christmas everyone! Today I'm recommending another game from the magical Steam sale, and today, fitting in with the Christmas spirit, is the snowy winter wonderland of Skyrim. Also, to keep in with the Christmas spirit, because I can't be a misanthrope every day of the year, I'm giving away a copy of Skyrim. All you have to do to enter this competition is type a comment below, and I'll randomly pick one person to be the lucky winner. Ho ho ho, and Merry Christmas. Reviewing a game like Skyrim is a tricky prospect due to its massive size. I've probably sunk at least 60 hours or more into this game, which by the size of most games is wholesomely adequate. Heck, that's like, what, 10 of your generic COD campaigns, right? But in Skyrim terms, it makes me somewhat of a filthy casual. I also tend to play the game rather sporadically because its open world nature just allows for it. I followed a main quest for a bit and could get distracted by a series of dungeons or a curious quest involving hunting down some serial killers, or just something simple like stalking through the forest hunting wild game. Then, when I tire of a character, I make another one and another one and another one and another one, and see what adventures they can find and what directions they can go in, all in this wonderful, evolving narrative. Skyrim is an action RPG set in the magical Nordic world of Skyrim, which is a huge, snowy, mountain-peaked region heavily influenced by Norse mythology. It's one portion of the massive Elder Scrolls continent known as Tamriel. You take control of one of the 10 races of Tamriel, all with different stats and abilities, and explore the wide open world of Skyrim in any way you want. Fancy becoming head of a mages guild? Go crazy. Werewolf? Feel free. Want to become a master thief? Or assassin? Knock yourself out. Or want to just explore the game's snowy wilderness and climb mountains and hunt mammoths? The world is literally your oyster. The game limits you so far as you're encouraged to develop your skills in one area, whether that be fighting with swords, shooting bows, or slinging a huge range of magic, from destructive fireballs to charms that let you take over enemies, or necromancy that lets you raise the dead to fight on your side. The more you use your favourite things, the better your character gets at them, and eventually you can branch into multiple areas of expertise. But even from the start you can play around with all the fun combinations and styles of play. Items and magic can be equipped to your left and right hands respectively. So you can, for example, fight offensively with a sword in one hand and lightning in the other, or more defensively with, say, a magical shield in one hand and a frost spell to slow down your attackers in the other, or you can just have both hands equipped with a big mighty warhammer, or you can go sword and shield. There's lots and lots to play around with, and this is really cool and allows for a very interesting and in-depth combat experience. The skill tree in the game is what really drives this home. It's split into 3 loose categories of mage, thief and warrior, and it allows you to specialise in a certain area and gain perks within them as your character levels up in strength. You may upgrade your frost spells to paralyse your opponent, or add a slow motion to your bow firing, or become better at bribing guards or bartering stolen goods with merchants. This is all fairly simplistic compared to a lot of RPGs, including the old Elder Scrolls games. There's no complex stats, which does mean you lose some depth, but in exchange you get a very intuitive experience where you can focus on exploring the world and playing the game over min-maxing every single point of your character, which I feel suits a game like Skyrim best. The core of the main quest within the game involves the return of the dragons, with your character, whoever he or she is, being the chosen one who gets magical shouty dragon powers, which if you like ragdolls are pretty amusing to activate, and can also absorb the souls of dragons within him, or her, to get more powerful. He or she has to go off and defeat this great god of dragons before the great god of dragons destroys the world, or whatever. This is intertwined with a somewhat more interesting plot of a rebellion of the xenophobic Nords against their Romanesque imperial overlords. This is more interesting as you actually get to pick a side and see it through to the end vaguely on your own terms, unlike the Dragon Quests. What probably exacerbates the issue I find with Skyrim of getting distracted from seemingly the core of a game to run off exploring the world and doing whatever the hell I want, is how dull the main quest lines tend to be. They're linear and stereotypical, and this really contrasts with the weird and wonderful and engaging world surrounding them. When I can accidentally stumble on things that are infinitely more interesting than the actual main core designed quests that the game is throwing at me, there seems something weird going on to me. Part of me hopes that they do away with the need for a main questline entirely in future games, as they don't ever seem to add much for me. Dragons are a key component in Skyrim's main quest, and they eventually start attacking you what seems like every other minute, which changes your reaction from, "Oh shit, a dragon," to, "Oh shit, a dragon." This is made worse by how awkward the dragons are to actually fight. They tend to fly around in the air and you have to lob fireballs or frostbolts or whatever else at them and shoot arrows and hope that they land so you can actually get some sword hits in with them, which makes the whole thing a kind of more of a dull chore than like a terrifying fight against a rampaging dragon. In fact, the other enemies in the game, such as the random tigers that attack you, the giants and mammoths and the weird, scary, ghosty will-o-wisps are actually far more threatening and frightening to find than dragons, which seems really wrong to me. To be honest, any game that can make dragon attack a dull chore is doing something wrong. It also feels like some of the elements of the game are rushed. The Mage's Guild questline, for example, is very short and doesn't require much in the way of using magic at all, which is bizarre as you eventually become the Archmage, yet only need to cast a couple of basic spells to even get to that point. Although the Warriors Guild, known as the Companions, is a particular highlight in contrast, with the characters being interesting and engaging, and the questline being fun, and having a few surprises within it. It seems, I think, when you throw so much into a game like this, you perhaps can't expect everything to be utterly polished when it comes out the other way. I also wish the magic in the game interacted with the world more. Perhaps I'm spoiled by, for example, the Bioshock games, which do this really well. Electricity that conducts in water, for example, or fire spells that actually burn things would be exciting to play. But I can understand the limitations of the game engine. Honestly, a lot of these niggles don't really matter. This is the type of game that people will seem to play for hundreds of hours and then have an epiphany and declare is actually really bad because of a few tiny little things, which I find kind of amusing considering how few games can even capture someone's attention for a fraction of that time. What really keeps me coming back to Skyrim, and why I want to recommend you to buy it today for a mere $3.70 available on Steam right now, is the evolving narrative it creates and the stories it tells in its most poignant moments. I remember coming across a lake where a mammoth carcass lay still on the ground. The music seemed to stop, and towering above this mammoth was one of the game's many giants. Normally they roam around intimidatingly, and if you get too close to them, aren't afraid of chasing you and knocking 7 shades of hell out of you should you get in contact with them. This one, though, had just given up all hope. He just slumped down, looking at his poor pet. And even when I approached him, he did nothing. He just remained on the spot, ignoring my attempts to get his attention entirely, as he mourned the passing of his friend. The poor bastard, I thought, before I put him out of his misery with a flurry of firebolts. I wasn't forced to see this by some in-game cutscene. Many people who play the game probably won't even see this moment, making it even more unique and special to me and my experience during the game. And I was allowed to react to it in my own way as well. I could have chosen not to be a sadistic prick, but that's the type of guy I am. Skyrim throws little moments like that at you at a constant absorbing pace, making it one of the best games to show off just how unique, wonderful and imaginative games can be, really making it a must-play experience.